Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha. So today I would like to talk about a very important topic that I wanted to talk about even in the past, but I didn't find enough time and occasion to do the same. So now I would like to talk about this, my journey to studying astrology, and how I studied astrology. So many people have asked about this. So how did I study astrology? It has been a really long story and there were many obstacles and obstructions while studying. So just this video is just to share about my journey. So starting with, I had actually studied the entire Bhagavad Gita, by hearted it, and I used to chant it out of memory in many temples and many places, just like that. Just go into the temple and wherever we see the Lord, we used to chant. In the same way, my sister also had by hearted the entire Bhagavad Gita and used to chant it out of her memory in every single temple, wherever she would like to chant. So it was just like that, casual, just going and chanting. So all the 700 shlokas of the Gita were memorized by us both at the age of 6 and 7. That is, my sister by hearted, finished by hearting at the age of 6 and me at the age of 7. So this was our background at the beginning. And then my mother was thinking, why don't they too learn Sanskrit, because that's the basis of all our Vedic education. And not only Vedic education, even modern education has its basics in Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is the cradle of human civilization and linguistics. So we started studying Sanskrit and I completed my Sanskrit. I was doing my Sanskrit at the age of 8, 9 and 10 also. And I was studying the advanced exams and also the medium exams at the age of 10. And this is when near the classroom of Sanskrit, where they were just giving a top-up for the just before the examination, I noticed there was a board. Our whole family, we all noticed there was a board nearby saying there are astrology classes there. So there are astrology classes there, and we were quite curious. Till then, I knew only one thing about astrology: the sun-based supplement, sun sign supplements, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. But I had no idea about how deep our Vedic astrology is. And those of you who have not yet got into this, I should also give a method to study astrology, tips of studying astrology. So basically Vedic astrology has many parts and it's a very deep science. So there's a disturbance and we'll begin again. So we were just staring at that board over there and we wanted to go in and inquire about the details of the course. It was a Kannada institution and it had a course on astrology, different parts of astrology. So we asked them, and all the while they were thinking my parents are going to study astrology, but then they found out it was me who is going to study astrology, and I was just 10 at that time, and now I'm 13, 14. So in that institution they were talking about the different syllabus, and they were first of all saying a small child cannot understand all of these things. And then my mother introduced me to them that I had finished learning the entire Bhagavad Gita and was learning Sanskrit, the advanced lessons at that time. So then they interviewed me whether I would be able to attend the course and the classes, or was it not possible. And then they interviewed and they found out that I had all the understanding capability necessary by God's grace to be able to attempt the exam and also go through the course. And post this, they gave the admission. So an overview of that place was like nobody there had understood Sanskrit, nobody had understood the Bhagavad Gita, which are two main preliminary prerequisites for studying astrology, especially Vedic astrology. So anyways, everything was going fine with that place, but the only problem was I could not understand Kannada. Kannada is the local language in Karnataka. So I could not understand Kannada, and then we had to search for an English Vedic astrology institution. It was just nearby. It was called the Bharatiya Jyotisha Samsthana. And now I should explain how we used to go along with that institution. We actually, my mother and my father, they requested the director of the institution very politely about whether I could be able to be enrolled, because in the brochure of the institution it was written clearly that anybody below the age of 16 or 18 or something, a minor, or according to them they have some age restriction, that I do not come within that and I cannot study astrology. what I feel here, interrupting, is that the basic problem with our Indian system of education is we have kept age barriers for almost everything. According to our Manu
Yeah, the
Samhita,
modern Indian education system.
yes. So even across the world, it's the same thing. And what we have is in our Manu Samhita, in our different great Samhitas, and in our Gurukula tradition, we have a different thing. In our Manu Samhita, it is clearly said that Vidya and the capacity of the brain, knowledge, these are the main things when we see a person. In our Subhashitas, in our literature, also we see a person not through their body and not through the clothes they wear, not the other apparel, but their inner mind and the and the fire of learning within them, the desire of learning, and the present knowledge within them. This is how you judge somebody when you see them for learning knowledge, when they come to you for learning something. But today in India, it's not like this. It's not like this. People have age barriers for everything. I tell you, even a child can become a doctor studying the MBBS faster than an adult can do in most cases. A child can also learn deep sciences like astrology, can master the science of engineering and everything else, can do so many more miracles, but nobody is there to recognize all of this. The government has set up many state awards, this award, that award, but people are not yet giving importance to the higher studies for children below the age of 18. They think that higher studies only must be pursued after the age of 18. Why? Basically, engineering, mechanical engineering, so many things. Children are interested in so many different avenues. Why should everybody study the same old textbook? So that's a totally different perspective. But still here, their age barrier was present, and my parents were politely requesting them whether I could join or not because of my age barrier. In the Kannada institution, they readily agreed after they got to know that I could attend. But here, it went on for a while, the requesting and the insisting, everything else. And then they said, okay, because we were not going there to get the certificate, all of that. I was very inquisitive to learn about this, very curious about astrology, and I was not quite comfortable with the Kannada language at that time because we had just arrived from abroad, so we needed to have the English background for everything, and we were not able to attempt with the local language, so we needed English. I was just learning Kannada. It was quite tough for me to understand even the poetic Kannada that is used in astrological science. So I used to attend those classes also, but here they said, okay, then let's have a committee and let's see whether he can do it or not. And then they judged me, and they found out that I really had the capability by God's grace to be able to do this. And immediately they gave me they again talked with my parents, and they accepted the fees of 3,500 or more rupees. And I also had the hall ticket with me of the examination that came later on, and the receipt, etc. So they gave this whole admission to me, and then they were like all the while thinking, how is this boy going to do it? They're wondering how I'm going to do it in the future, going on with the classes. Then the classes began, and of course in the classes you show the board and you teach the you teach the students and ask them questions in the middle, of course, don't you? So as a teacher, we ask the students, yes, so did you understand what I said? And here's the question, an exam in the middle, to understand how far the students went in understanding. So they used to ask a question to the whole of the class, whether they understood or not. And the students would not have a reply for most of these questions. And I used to reply immediately because I had that fire of learning, and I still kept. After the class, nothing special about me is what I believe. After the class, I used to study a lot more of astrological literature, lot more scriptural literature, and I used to come to the class. So it was Sunday classes. Throughout the week, I used to study dozens of books, hundreds of pages on different ancient astrological books of our sages, and I used to answer the questions. This was a routine thing, and not that I used to just blurt out immediately. Let the class all decide the answers. When they could not and they all nodded their heads, we don't know, then I used to reply. It was not that I was just shooting out the answers. So when I was giving these replies, every time the teacher used to ask any difficult question, jealousy started rising among the teachers and the students. it was so strong and heavy amounts of jealousy was just getting into their head, and now they could not tolerate me being in that place and learning. So this was, here the fire of jealousy and here the fire of learning. It was like that. And then the teachers started becoming extremely jealous, including the director or the president, whatever, Krishna Kumar. Everybody started becoming so damn jealous and heaped up that they just could not withstand an inch more of learning, an inch more of my learning in that place. So next what happened was, the director called my father up and told him that I should not be asking any question to the teachers, and nor should I be answering any question to when a question is asked to the whole of the class. Obviously, if I have any doubt, I can ask the teacher, because that person is standing there for that, isn't it? So, in case I have a difficult doubt also, I have all the rights to ask my teacher about it. Suppose it's a very difficult question that I am asking. The whole class gets shocked about the question I'm asking, and then they start getting more jealous of me. And in case the question is posed and I answer it when nobody else is doing it, they get more jealous of me. They're adults, okay? So they're all above the age of 20 at least, 30 at least. Nobody's below 20, and very few with between 20 and 30, and everybody almost is above 30. And I'm the only one 10, so 1/3 of the range. And now what happens is, the director says he's not supposed to ask any question or answer any question. I had the emails of my father requesting him to and also promising him that I will not answer or ask any question. I have the emails with me over here.
Okay, I'll just bring it forward, Bhaiya.
Yeah, I just show it at the end. We can attach it at the end, and I'll show it at the end. So I'll continue now. So he requested this way, and we were like shocked. Why? Is this how our astrological institutions should go? Is this how our ancient India was in the past? Is this how we want to go forward with it? These are the questions that came, they arose. And then my father told me, say that the president has said you're not supposed to ask any question, it's arousing irritation in the minds of the adults. Was I coming there and causing havoc? Was I coming there and throwing eggs on their heads? I wasn't, isn't it? I wasn't running around like some other child. I was actually listening inquisitively and with a lot of curiosity about the knowledge. I wasn't creating any ruckus and havoc there. So why at all should such things be brought? Every child has its own power within itself, and every child, from whichever background, every child can do it. So any science, it's not only astrology, it's not only medical science, it's not only Ayurveda, it's not any particular piece you can say a child can do. A child can do everything. It depends on the brain, and it depends on the power that the child has and the faith that the parents instill in the child. That's the thing. And the brain can be easily developed. Even if a child seemingly unintelligent is actually extremely intelligent. We have many cases, including the most famed Albert Einstein was named unintelligent by teachers. Well, it was completely, taken off. That's not the case with any child. So moving forward with this, I stopped asking any questions, stopped answering. I stopped asking my doubts. I should just sit quiet at the end of the bench and just listen, write notes and go back and read. This small class of a Sunday was very less of importance to what I have studied today. I used to study throughout the week many ancient textbooks like Brihat Parashahora Shastra, in the same way Brihat Jataka, Phaladipika, and many more, Brihat Samhita. We have many dozens of these, Jataka Chandrika, and so many more textbooks. I used to study all of these and make notes and understand the Sanskrit meaning of these, which is absent in most people who study this.
And in the end, we will show all the books.
Yes, I'll also show the books to you, and you can also see my video on review of astrological books. We should put the link below where I have the whole list of astrological books I have. Some of them are authored by modern scholars. They are also quite important. Some of them are by our ancient rishis. So I've just made a collection of the ones I have. There are many more, but I have made a short collection of what I had at that time when I was 10, 11 years old. So then I was admitted to this course, and this is how I had to be. Specific situation of not asking or answering anything and sitting quiet. I was okay with it. We continued, and then the exam, the exam appeared. It came, so I was very much excited to do it. As with other exams, I love exams. To be frank with everybody, I love every sort of exam, even if it's given by even if my sister just brings a paper and writes a few questions for me and tells me to answer it, I like it. Even if it's from a big institution, I like it. Whatever it is, I love exams. Even if it's by a small institution like BJS or a big institution or anything, I love exams because that's my favorite thing. I like it when my mind is tested and my studies are tested. So I was very much excited to attend this exam. Just before the exam, just a week or two before the exam, getting very angry and very jealous with me for no reason. Maybe jealousy has a reason, but anger, no reason for sure. These students and teachers were starting to make fun of me in the class. Well, it was really horrible to see this. Well, that is fine with me. I like people making fun of me also. So that's fine with me. So I was in the class at that time, and the teacher suddenly came to me and asked me, "What do you do when you go back home?"
And they also started asking about the clothing and all of that.
Yeah, so I can understand that, yeah.
They also started telling that your clothing is wrong and all of those things.
No, they didn't talk about the clothing. Maybe because I used to wear this as the pant and shirt just like everybody, they were telling me to wear something traditional. Nobody's wearing it there, so why should I? Anyway, it's normal, and whenever I go to certain places, I wear traditional clothes and go, but normally I'm in this outfit. It's fine for me, and anything that suits me is fine, and they have no reason to talk to me about such things. What do you do when you go back home? What is that question? It's so stupid to ask such a question. Okay, maybe it's a teacher, she's just inquisitive about knowing what I do. Yes, I said I study and I play. Yes, I do play, and so to my viewers, I have a whole cupboard of toys and a whole set of games to play. So I do play a lot. I play more than 3 hours a day, and I also study a lot, and even if it's less time of study, I put more of my concentration into the study at that time. So time doesn't matter, it's the concentration that we put, and it's the efforts that we put in our study, and it's the amount of understanding that we gain and the knowledge that we gain from studies. So yes, I said I study and I play. Now she started attacking. What do you play? Well, what is this question? What do you play? And the tone is not like, what do you play, Abhigya? It's like, what do you play? And I said, I play cricket. I play many other games. I play board games. I play with my cows. We have 7 cows. As most of you know, we have 7 cows. Right now 7. That time 2. So yeah. I do play with my cows, I do play board games, I play cricket, football, I play kabaddi, I play many more local and foreign games, whatever it is. Then she started saying you shouldn't play foreign games. What insane comment is that? I just didn't rebuke at that. I was okay to bear with that stupid comment, but it's fine for me. Why you should not play foreign games? I said I can, because that's just a game. I can play anything. Even if it's anything foreign, I can use it. Everybody's sitting there with smartphones. Do we know that most smartphones are designed and created in foreign countries? Maybe some of them also in India. Maybe the designs are also in India, but it's an idea of the foreigners. So why are you all using smartphones? Why are you all traveling in cars? Mercedes-Benz, this Benz, or not even Mercedes-Benz. Nobody had it there, but maybe Suzuki's, whatever it is. Why are you traveling in cars? Why using bikes? Why using engines? We all together, the whole world has done a lot to create our comfort level that we have today. It's not only India everywhere, it's many more countries. Though we have contributed a bigger percentage, it's many more countries who have done so many things to increase the comfort level of the earth and the people who dwell on the earth. So that's fine for me if I use something foreign, unless it's bad. So what's wrong with cricket? And then why attack for such a puny, stupid reason. And then the next thing was, what do you study? I said, I study the Brihad Parashurara Shastra, I study the Brihad Jataka, the Phaladipika, so came a list. And Vastu Shastra I study. Maya Matam, Vishwakarma, Vastu Shastra, Manasara, so came a list. And she says, well, you should not study Brihad Parashurara Shastra, you should not study Manasara, you should not study all those Sanskrit books. Why? She says, I give you the notes and you're supposed to study only those notes. What's that? You study only my notes? Your notes are just close to a grain of sand in comparison to the ocean, all the 7 oceans of the world of our scriptures. These notes that they give have very less to zero information, and only it's all quackery. So even if it's informative, that's all present in the scriptures. So those scriptures is what I want to study. The calf never drinks milk that is already present in the bottled milk. The calf goes to the mother cow and drinks from the mother cow directly, and that's where it gets the pleasure, and that's how the milk is more tasty and more wonderful and more nutritious for the calf. Same for knowledge. Only when we go to the direct source of the knowledge, maybe the additions, the hay, the wheat, etc. is given to the calves, that's an addition, like these notes, etc. But the main source is the scriptures, and that is what I was going for, and that is absolutely right. So why should anybody question me on this? How do you study the Brihad Parashurara Shastra? Well, I write the scriptures, I write the shlokas in my book. I give their Sanskrit meaning split by split. I don't follow the translation entirely, because sometimes the translator might have made a typo error or something, which I find most of the time. So I don't believe the translation entirely. I take down the meaning, I write a whole description of it and how I understood it. I give the commentaries for it from other different authors, and then I start giving examples and nourishing that explanation of a verse with so many different things and adding calculations wherever necessary. This is the way I study every verse. Sometimes some verses are not that important, or they are just reiterations, so I just read them, just read the Sanskrit meaning and go on forward. Sanskrit is just like English and just like any other language for me. I love it so much. I also dream things in Sanskrit sometimes, and also Sanskrit is a language that I feel very much connected to every time. Just like my mother tongue and father tongue, Sindhi and Tamil, I'm very much connected to Sanskrit internally. So now the next thing is that I was studying these scriptures, and she asked me, you should not do that. And I said, I will do it. I like it, and I will do it. And I went back home, I did the same thing. I did it. I did the same opposite of what my teacher told me, and I thank God and I thank God and the providence for that time to teach me that I had to do that at that moment. So then when I went back home, my mother asked me what happened in the class as usual, and I told, the teacher is just bullying me every time I go there. The teacher was bullying me every time, making fun of me, and all the jealous students, they're laughing every question is asked as if it was a big opera house where a singer is singing. My goodness. And then my mother said, she's not supposed to speak like that. Go and tell her that she was wrong in every statement of her speech. I did the same. I went back and told my teacher, these teachers have no knowledge of Sanskrit, most of them. These teachers have not studied the scriptures, most of them. These teachers have, all of the teachers present there do not have that human sense of being sympathetic. Okay? So that's what we saw. Except maybe one or two were, I'm not very sure about that count, but they didn't have this human sense of importance, sympathy, especially towards a child. And the same treatment went on, and then I told the teacher that she was wrong, and this created an upheaval. And on the day of the examination, when I came with the hall ticket, I'll show you the hall ticket, it's duly signed by the controller of the examination there, and they snatched the hall ticket from me for speaking like that to the teacher. I have all the rights to tell the teacher wherever she's wrong, and she was wrong, so I can say she's wrong. And then they just snatched the hall tickets from me, and that was another big issue. My mother was crying for it, literally crying for it, because it was not only about the money, they had already taken the fees. Money is just a very small part of it. She was crying for the whole year I had spent 365 days to write that particular exam. 365 days of my time. And finally, I had actually, even then without the hall ticket, they again gave me the papers. I wrote all the 8 papers. Actually, the students there, they write 4 in one semester, 4 in the other. I was made to write 8 at one shot, and I wrote all the 8 papers in a span of 3 days. That was really hectic because I had to keep on writing for 3 into 8, maybe 24 hours, made 4 parts. So I was doing this over there with all of the students were just writing just 4 papers and going away. That too in 3 days, 4 papers, 1 paper a day, and just going away. Whereas I was writing more than 2-3 papers in a day. So this was the unjust treatment towards a child in that
And
case.
once more, the drawing class, they ill-treated you, saying that...
That's not an ill treatment. That was actually, they were not knowing. So once, there's one more incident. Thank you, Abhigya, for reminding. So I was just walking into the astrology class as usual. I was coming inside to sit on the bench, and a teacher who was new to me asked me, like, "Oh, why are you coming here?" I said, "I'm going to sit for the class." And they say, "No, drawing class is there." She thought I was a drawing student. "No, drawing class is over there." I said, I'm coming to study astrology." And they're like, "Astrology? Are you kidding? The drawing class is there, the next classroom." "Well, I'm coming to study astrology." And then they allowed me to say, well, this was one of the incidents over there. And next, what happened was, they snatched away the hall tickets, and then they gave it back after after my mother and father pleaded them, especially my mother. She was literally crying. And then I finished the examination, and till date they are not given the result. And I care damn for those results, because anyways that examination is so puny. I just wrote it for my own satisfaction, and for doing something worthy for the 365 days of hard work that I've done. But on their part, it is surely unjust, and they will have to suffer the consequences someday for their unjust deed. That will be given, I don't know where, but of course they will have to, each one of those people present there. So this is what was happening with that place, and finally I didn't get the result. I don't need it, basically. I don't need anybody's result. If I have understood the scriptures right, the sages themselves in the book format, they will give me their blessings, and I don't require anybody else's certificate, whoever they are across the world. So by God's grace, after that I completed the Kannada institution exams, because I had bettered my Kannada throughout the time. And then I completed those examinations. I wrote the exam in Kannada, in the same Kannada that they had taught me in. So that was also fine, and I got the certificates from there. That is not an issue. But the material that is given for studying both the institutions were very less compared to the scriptures, of course. So I had to study the scriptures completely, and most people who just go to these institutions sit there and study whatever material they give, they are incomplete. They are at least 50% incomplete. And in other institutions, they're 90% incomplete. They have only studied 10% of astrology. So, one thing is, if one has to study astrology, one needs to study the scriptures, at least the main 3 of them. Brihatparashovara Shastra, Phaladipika, and Brihatjataka. This will give us a good idea of the 3 systems of astrology. Along with this, we have many more systems. The Jaimini system is also extremely relevant. So, like this, we study so many things in order to, in order to be an astrologer, and in order to understand the science of astrology. So this is how it is, and I don't see there is anything like that over there. And nobody emphasizes on studying Sanskrit, but Sanskrit is the world's most ancient language, the world's most technical language, the world's most easiest language to study and understand and speak, and the world's most logical and amazing language. It just amazes us the moment it speaks out. Every single verse of astrology, and even aeronautics, even medical, and so many scriptures are written in an it is a 32 lettered format, with the letters being aligned in a big and short form. Just imagine more than a billion verses of literature being written in a 32-48 verse system that can be just sung. It's like the whole branches of knowledge being sung in a metric tone. This is Sanskrit, and there is no language in the world that can replicate this system of saying everything in a beautiful rhythmic song. It's not just a song that we sing without a rhythm, but this has a particular rhythm and a particular number of letters per beat. According to our Indian musical system, we have 8 beats for this Adi Thala. Okay, and this, each verse in the Anushtuk meter, there are thousands of other meters. In the Anushtuk meter, we have 32 verses, and for each beat, we have 4 letters coming. So 8 into 4 equals 32. And this is how our system of Sanskrit, I'm just quoting 1 meter, there are so many more meters, with so many more rhythmic fragments. Just see the beauty and the brevity of expression in Sanskrit. So those who want to learn astrology, the first priority is Bhagavad Gita, spiritual knowledge, knowledge of the karmic theory, not from somebody and somebody, but from Lord Sri Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. Number 2, Sanskrit knowledge is extremely necessary, without which nothing is possible in the field of astrology, nor in other Vedic fields also. There are many more to quote. Many Ayurvedic technicians and people today also do not know Sanskrit properly. Not even most of the astrologers today do not know Sanskrit properly. It is a pity to see this state of our country today, that we are not valuing our Vedic sciences, and there are many more foreign scholars of our Vedic sciences who have studied the Sanskrit, the Bhagavad Gita, everything, and today they are more adept, and according to our scriptures, they are actual astrologers. It does not matter from which race you come, if you have the knowledge and the devotion to be able to do it, and the power to be able to do it. In fact, Varahamira says that the Yavanas in the past, the Greeks, used to come to India to learn astrology. Quickly they learned Sanskrit, they learned our scriptures, they became devotional to the Supreme, and they started following the Vedic method of learning. They studied in the Gurukulas, they came to India and they did everything. They created an amazing breakthrough. They became extremely proficient astrologers, and Varahamira appreciated them in almost every verse of his literature. He quotes them also. So this is how Sanskrit, Bhagavad Gita, the Gurukula system. Today there is no Gurukula system. Everybody can't go there. So this is how I would like to show the email for requesting this person to give
Give the permission to write the exam.
So this is what we wrote to them. As per your instructions and conditions,
Just 1 minute.
This is one of the important parts. Never interacted with any teacher in the classroom unless personally spoken to. Never asked any question to the teachers when in doubt. Never answered any question despite knowing the answer. So this is what I was told to do. And they told me to write all the 24, actually these people told me to write all the 24 papers at the end of 3 years. I am not allowed to, Abhigya, can you please show it here? I'm not allowed to write the exams every semester, 4 exams every semester. Rather, I was told to write all the 24 papers at the end of 3 years. That's just humanly impossible to write everything at the age of now. According to them, around last year, I should have been writing all the 24 papers, each spanning 3 hours, maybe a few days. So there's no milestone. Actually, these exams are milestones for every part of our study. It's not like you just come up with 24 papers and dump it on a child and force a child to write it at the end of 3 years, while every other adult is writing 4 papers every 6 months. Why don't they try doing that? When they do it, they'll just crumble, because none of them there have studied much. So here is the letter asking them to do it. Please do it like that. And here is an open challenge to every teacher of BJS and others who claim to be astrologers without knowing Sanskrit and Bhagavad Gita, etc. Please explain some concepts of Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, Phaladipika and Brihat Jataka that are asked. Let us see if these people have the scriptural and Sanskrit knowledge of these. I am not asking for an explanation, simple explanation, but a Sanskrit explanation and logical approach and Tarka Shastra explanation of every verse in Brihat Parashara.
Without seeing the book.
Yeah, with or without seeing the book, that doesn't matter, because it's not a prerequisite to by heart all the verses. It's a prerequisite to understand these verses through Sanskrit. If you by heart, it is better, but this is an open challenge to all those teachers who think they are teachers. Just because of studying some books of some other astrologers, we can't be astrologers. We can't see into the futures of others. So this is how it is. And thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramchandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi.
We're going to show you the books now. Put it a little up to show which some star it is. Yeah.
So this is their website where they say, this is the About Us column there. So you can see, as you see here, they said to provide succor to today's stressful society, especially the young. They are talking all of this and lying, and actually if you read this whole thing you see that, and if you compare it to what they did to me, and if you compare it, it's totally wrong. They don't do anything for anybody, it's just talk, that's it. So this is how it is. Serious, elaborate and detailed study. Well, all these detailed study is a waste without having some gunas, some good qualities that are present in the Bhagavad Gita. So this is their website and you can go and see how it is. So now I would like to show you the hall ticket of the examination which I forgot to show you. It has been given here that I am supposed to attend the examination and the papers numbers have been ticked here, but still they are not allowed me to go through the examination. Well, who cares about that examination now? Just to show the treatment of astrology towards the young, small children who want to learn such an ancient science which used to be taught at a young age in Gurukulas is being now destroyed and inculcated only in adults. Why? And those adults only have a money-making tendency most of the time. So why keep a child away from all of this? And now I am going to show you some of the very important books that one needs to study. Well, even in this college, people, the teachers and the syllabus is based on the scriptures, but still nobody studies the scriptures separately, and nobody is told to study Sanskrit as a preliminary prerequisite. Nobody is told to study the Bhagavad Gita as a preliminary prerequisite, and nobody follows them either. So here are very important books. I have the Phaladipika, the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra, I have the Prashna Tantra and many more books here. But for full review of all the books that I have, this is just a small number. I have the others in a different place. So you can just watch my video on book review by Abhigya, astrology book review. So here are some more Vedic books that I have collected, and astrology and Ayurveda also. So for Vastu, I study Mayamatam Vishwakarma Vastu Shastram. I don't pay that much heed to any author's own findings on Vastu unless it is really trusted as an experiment on experimental basis. But one thing is for sure, I do not doubt Mayamatam Vishwakarma Vastu Shastram etc. I practice them and reap their benefits always. I do not doubt on these scriptures. But we can have a sufficient amount of doubt when an author brings his own idea, a modern author brings his own idea, or even an ancient author with no rishi background brings his own idea without experimentation. It will not be taken into consideration, and it should not be taken into consideration since they are not having the intuition power. Only those who have the meditative intuition power, or those who have the experimental power and the force of experimentation and scientific theories, only their books and their revelations can be believed. Just like we believe scientists today because they have significant amount of proof to prove their ideas and to display their ideas. In the same way, we have to believe the sages because they had a significant amount of intuition power that can even be checked and experimented today to know the truth. So one needs Sanskrit and all the scriptures to come to a conclusion, and this is very much lacking in today's astrological institutions. So, suggestion to the people who are who are actually very much interested to studying astrology, very much interested. So you can, there is no need to go to institutions and take the courses, pay money and buy the books and do it like that. Unless you need personal help for certain calculations, that is not necessary. Personal doubts clearing only might be done by some well-known astrologer or somebody who is really proficient in mathematics and astrology can be asked for. But just having copies of scriptures at home and reading them, doing your own research, experimentation, and keeping the sages as the gurus. They say that without guru there is no vidya. But the guru always need not be a physical person. The guru can also be mental, where you can worship him through your subconscious level. Just like how Ekalavya, the story of Ekalavya easily disproves the fact that one always needs a physical guru to learn something in a proficient way. Ekalavya did not only learn it, but he excelled in it even better than Arjuna, which later called his cutting of the thumb. But still, this is a story to prove that we need not have physical gurus for almost everything except for practical arts. And astrology is half practical, half scientific. It's completely scientific and it's a little bit of practical experience is required. So that can be gained by understanding and experimenting, and also connecting with people who have sufficient knowledge on this. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha. And also, I just forgot to mention the name of the Kannada college I studied in. It's called a Divya Jyoti College of Astrology. But one thing is for sure, that no course in the world can provide you about the utmost information, practical information that is necessary for any particular study. It is us who have to, as aspiring students, research and get the real material. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi.